Listen, man, James Harden needs to be studied. Whether you think he's a top 5 shooting guard of all time or not, this guy is special. I mean, think about this. 16 years in the NBA. He just got named an NBA All-Star once again at the age of 35. His longevity is undefeated. His ability to adapt to the game and the different styles of play is crazy. And overall, bro, he just plays winning basketball. There's a few things I want to talk about, guys. First of all, his transitioning is absolutely insane. The fact that he went from a 6-man in OKC to an MVP in Houston to, less of a scorer, more of a passer guy in Brooklyn and now in LA. I feel like this guy just adapts to the game beautifully. And listen, guys, that is not easy to do, bro. The ability to adapt to different play styles, the ability to play in a different role on a different team is not easy to do. It is difficult, and James Harden does it absolutely exceptionally. I feel like this guy has switched like 4 careers into one, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he went from a guy averaging 40 a game or close to 40 down to like 16 a game with like 10 assists. So every team he goes to, he just fits their role and their expectation perfectly. Because at the end of the day, bro, there's been a lot of great NBA players that were good for a few years and then maybe got traded and kind of fell off because they just weren't able to adapt their game to their new team's play style. And listen, guys, I feel like Harden is actually very unique at this as well, because I feel like a lot of players would let their ego get in the way and, they would try to chuck shots or still try to get that 40 a game that they once averaged. But Harden just accepts the fact that, he's not the same scorer he was in Houston, and he just became a great passer. This guy's one of the best playmakers in the NBA. He helps find his teammates. And honestly, bro, it's beautiful to see. Now, guys, the reason he's been able to do it for so long, I feel like it's been a decade of James Harden just being good while other players his age have completely fallen off. It is because his game is based on skill over athleticism. Now, guys, I'm not saying that Harden is not athletic. At the end of the day, he obviously still is. He's in the NBA. He's been there for a very long time. So he is to some role in some extent. But at the end of the day, his skill is what helps him, keep up even at an older age now. His skill is based on footwork, basketball IQ, his passing ability, his ability to find the open man. All this is mostly skill and not athleticism. I mean, listen, man, we've seen players like Russell Westbrook, who is obviously still a very, very good player. He's playing well for the Denver Nuggets right now, but we've seen his game decline a little bit in the past couple of years because obviously you can't keep that athleticism up for like 20 years. Harden, on the other hand, his game is built on skill, footwork, basketball IQ, and I'm not saying other players don't also have this, but Harden is not the most athletic player, bro. He's been able to, manipulate certain footwork. He's been able to, manipulate even certain NBA rules with the fouls he used to get in Houston. Everything that he does is just straight IQ. Now, guys, this is why I think Harden is able to be good for so long, man. His game is built on skill. His game is built on, that footwork he developed in Houston and his basketball IQ overall, bro. This guy is a very smart NBA player. He's a very smart basketball player. He knows how to, get the ball in the right people's hands. He knows how to, move. His footwork is ridiculous. Obviously, back in Houston, you guys remember, bro, he used his footwork to get a lot of foul calls. And I'm not going to lie, that's just straight IQ. Guys, if you look historically at the NBA, guys like Kobe, guys like Dirk, there's been a ton of players overall that have extended their careers just through skill development rather than athleticism. I feel like a lot of players like Kobe and Dirk, I mean, at some points they just weren't athletic anymore, but their skill carried them through to the last like 5 years that they had in the NBA. And guys, Harden is definitely one of those guys that needs to be studied for his longevity. And on top of that, we need to look at his injury management and durability as well. Now, guys, Harden has played heavy minutes pretty much everywhere he's been in his career. Obviously, Houston being the most, obvious one. He played a lot of minutes over there because obviously he was the best player in the team. Guys, if you really think about it, Harden has managed to avoid any significant injuries. And I guess his play style does play into this a lot because he's not really the guy that's, explosive, driving to the rim every time. He doesn't get injured like that. He plays slow. He plays at his own pace. He controls the pace of the game. And honestly, bro, he doesn't take many high impact collisions. And of course, he doesn't violently land a lot because he's just chilling. It looks like poetry out there. Listen, I think in the NBA where, younger players are missing like half the season due to injury, Joel Embiid and, some others as well, I feel like Harden's longevity is absolutely crazy. His availability is one of his biggest strengths. I mean, if you think about it, in the past like 10 or even like 12 years, he hasn't missed many games. If you really try to think about it, he hasn't been injured for a very long period of time. Listen, man, I think that's just a testament to how he takes care of his body, throughout the whole year, maybe even during the season, off season, whatever it is, bro, this guy is doing it right. And I feel like a lot of NBA players and younger guys too need to take notes. Guys, one more thing I want to talk about is his playmaking. First of all, hands down, playmaking is probably the most underrated aspect of an older NBA player's game because a lot of players could, extend their careers based off playmaking. If you think about it, guys like Steve Nash, even Jason Kidd played till they're very, very old. Same with LeBron. LeBron right now is not the same scorer he used to be, but that playmaking is, keeping him up and keeping him at that same level. So guys, the fact that Harden went from being a, primary scorer on his team and an elite scorer in NBA history to an elite facilitator, I mean, bro, that is just something NBA players need to take note of. I mean, a lot of players are still trying to score like 30, 40 a game. They're trying to go crazy even at an older age, and it can't work, bro. You know, their bodies are older. They're not the same player they used to be, and their ability to incorporate playmaking would be a huge boost. Obviously, not only to themselves, but to their teammates. If you look at the Clippers this year, bro, Harden has gotten a lot of players better. He's getting them open looks. He's getting guys like Norman Powell involved. A lot of that Clippers team is just beautiful basketball. Don't get it twisted, bro. This guy, James Harden, can still score the basketball. If he wants to, if he needs to, he can still get to the line at ease, at will. And at the end of the day, bro, he still has the same qualities he had back in Houston. He still has that step back. He still has those clutch shot making abilities. He has it all still, but at the end of the day, it's just not the main focus of his game. Listen, guys, I feel like overall, a lot of young guys need to take a look at James Harden and study him, bro. He needs to be studied for a lot of reasons. His longevity, his ability to adapt is absolutely ridiculous. His ability to go from an MVP to, you know, a playmaker and one of the best in the NBA at that is crazy, and a lot of NBA players need to just take notes, and I feel like a lot of them already are. I mean, we can see influences of James Harden in other players' games. Obviously, I like Luka with the step back. That's kind of, you know, I guess coming from James Harden. A lot of players, though, need to take that James Harden route. Guys, to sum everything up real quick, man, listen, some players out here are just relying purely on athleticism. I feel like Ja Morant is one of those guys, and I feel like Ja Morant should learn from Harden, bro. He should, you know, adapt another way of play, or he should, you know, still keep that same way of play, but adapt a little bit more skill. And I feel like he's actually doing that. He's become a better passer, even though, you know, he hasn't been able to be available for the Grizzlies as much as he would like to be. I feel like a lot of players, though, are going to be able to take this route. They're going to use Harden as an example for longevity and adaptability and be able to just, you know, flourish their NBA careers into something that even they couldn't imagine. So yeah, man, I just had to make this video about James Harden because I think it's crazy that he's still an all-star at age 35. I mean, this guy outlasted guys like Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid can't even stay healthy for 5 games. Meanwhile, you have 35-year-old Harden putting a team on his back for the majority of the season and still being good and, you know, still playing through pretty much every single game. So shout out to James Harden. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.